Hi friends, this is Mr. Chika from Dubiss Forex Academy. Dubiss Forex Academy is one of the fastest growing academy in Nigeria that teaches people on how to trade the global financial market and make profit from it. So if you want to know how the financial market works and you want to also profit from this market, please locate any of the Dubiss Forex Academy Center here in Nigeria, or you can reach us online, then we can also train you. So today we want to dissect a topic, the liquidity. We want to dissect a topic called liquidity. So what is this liquidity is all about? You know, we've been hearing the word liquidity from different concepts, different angle, but I want to define this liquidity from the smart money concept. Liquidity from the smart money concept refers to those areas where the banks and the large institutions are likely to place their buy or sell order. This area are full of opposite market orders such as stop losses and stop orders in form of buy stop and sell stop waiting to be triggered. Then these orders tend to pile up around the key zones such as the trend line, equal lows or highs, as well as support and resistance levels. Smart money know this, and they will push price to this zone where they trigger your stop losses and stop orders in form of grabbing what? Your liquidity before the real market move. So in the aspect of liquidity, we have what we call liquidity grab, which is a part of creating trap in order to fool the retail traders. So let's dive into this liquidity. But before we go to the charts, we have various types of liquidity. Okay, let's look at different types of liquidity. Okay, so these are some of the examples. You can see the liquidity grab here. Price got to this liquidity zone and it took out all the stop losses and still move up. Let's get more example. We have another one here. There was a liquidity grab here. Okay, you can see this low. Price stepped in here, take out the stop losses and it moved. Look at this again. These are various forms of liquidity grab that you experience in the market, such that while you put your stop losses, what happens? These people tend to take out the stop losses and do what? Move the market that same direction you place it. So one thing we are going to learn today is how to identify these liquidity zones and how to trade on these liquidity zones. So we dive into how to locate it and how to trade around the liquidity zones. So before we do that, let's look at different types of liquidity. One, we have the trend line liquidity. Okay, we have the trend line liquidity. Two, we have the equal lows and equal highs liquidity. Equal lows and equal highs liquidity. So from the examples that I showed you also, okay, this example of a trend line liquidity, okay, example of a trend line liquidity. Here is a liquidity, okay, where they grab your liquidity. We have equal lows. We can see equal lows liquidity here. Going further, okay, we have equal lows liquidity. We have equal lows and equal highs liquidity. So these are various form of liquidity we can see in the market. These are the liquidity zone. You can see how price stepped in into this zone, okay, and price could not move further. So these are various types of what? Liquidity. So what is in there is that how do we trade this liquidity? How do we trade on the liquidity zones? For us to identify this zone, what we should be looking at for is where the big institution, okay, put their footprint. So a point where to locate a liquidity zone is First thing you need to do is what? Look for where the big institutions, okay, put up their print, their footprint. For example, whenever I see price make a high and there is a rejection candle, please note that zone as what? Your liquidity zone. Look at this, for example. Look at this, okay? Where you see a high, a recent high or recent low, know that is a footprint of the smart money concept, the smart money, the banks. So these are liquidity what? Zones. Look at this. If I can take examples on this particular chart, I have this zone. I also have this zone. Look at this. I have this zone. So these are what? Liquidity zones, for example. Then we also have the ones we call the equal lows or highs. They're high. Okay, equal lows or high. Look at this, for example. Look at this, for example. You can see that we have a liquidity zone here. There is an equal low here, okay, that gave rise to what we saw here. That gave rise to what we saw here. So this equal low gave rise to what we saw here. So there is a liquidity zone. So if we are to go further, for example, we have a liquidity zone here. Okay, let's go again. Let's show you how to identify some of this liquidity zone. Like looking at this, you can see that a high has been created here. So there is a liquidity zone here. Okay, there's a liquidity zone here. Let's go again. There is a liquidity. First of all, if you watch what is happening here, look at this. Okay, you can see how price is reacting there. Okay, so these are liquidity zone. More examples. For those who like trading trend line, okay, look at this liquidity zone. Look at this trend line liquidity. You can see how we connect this. This is your trend line liquidity. So these are various zones where the smart money do what? Attract retail traders. For instance, if we go further a bit, you can see, okay, liquidity zone. Look at this liquidity zone here. Look at this liquidity zone here. So you look for the recent highs or recent low. You will actually get what? A liquidity. Recent highs or recent lows. Okay, let's take a bit of this. Let's do analysis on this particular chart. I'm on Euro AUD. Okay, Euro AUD. Now, talking about liquidity, we have a liquidity zone here. We have a liquidity zone here. Okay, but I can assure you that smart money will not buy at this zone. For example, let's go further. We have this one that price is almost getting close. Okay, we'll have this liquidity zone here. First of all, we have this. Let me show you this. I'll go back to the previous charts. You can see this. We have this liquidity zone here, but I will tell you that the smart money will not buy at this level. Okay, how do we now trade this liquidity? Before we jump into how to trade on the liquidity zone, let me share this with you, because if I didn't do this, I might not be very fair with you guys. Okay, I might not be very fair with you guys. We have what we call liquidity sweep. Take note, before the big boys, the banks, the institutional traders enter the market, they would like to do what we call liquidity sweep. They would like to take out the liquidity, okay, before entering the market. That is what we call liquidity sweep. They like to grab all the liquidities, okay, because they believe that retail traders like to trade in support at a support or resistance zone, and when they trade at support or resistance zone, they put their stop losses a little bit within that zone. But what happens is that for these guys who want to enter the market, they would like to take out those stop losses, and also for those who felt that market have broken, they now enter either buy stop for price that is going down, or they enter buy stop, okay, for price that is going up, or sell stop for price that is going down. What happened? They will sweep out both the sell stop and the buy stop, and price will move the opposite direction. So take note, before they enter the market, they like to do what? Sweep liquidity. Some other person call it liquidity grab. So whichever one, all of them are what? The same thing. In fact, in the normal trading, we call it the stop loss hunt. Okay, let me share this with you before I go into that concept. We have what we call types of liquidity sweep. We have what we call types of liquidity. So we have two types of liquidity sweep. First, we have the soft sweep liquidity. The soft sweep liquidity. And two, we have the deep sweep liquidity. I will explain it. Okay, soft sweep liquidity and deep sweep liquidity. Okay, so what is it all about? Soft sweep liquidity are those liquidity that take out those zones with a single candle and price will reverse. Okay, it's a type of liquidity that when price get to that zone, it will sweep it with one candle, or maybe with the shadow, which is weak, and price will move in the opposite direction. Why deep sweep liquidity are those liquidity such that price move and take out this liquidity with several candles before moving to the opposite direction. So let's jump to the chart. Let me show you. So for soft sweep liquidity, okay, we can see that price took out this liquidity zone, and what happened? It stepped up with the wick of the candle. So this example of a soft sweep liquidity. Let's go. This example of a soft sweep liquidity, whereby price take out the liquidity probably with the wick of the candle or with one single candle, then price will go the opposite direction. So this example of a soft sweep liquidity. Then for a deep sweep liquidity, this is such that price move with several candles before taking the opposite direction. Okay, let's look at this. This is also another soft sweep liquidity. Yes, soft sweep liquidity. Then look at this. Okay, another soft sweep liquidity. But look at this one. You can see price take out this chart. Okay, this price with several candles before pulling up to the direction. We can see another example here of a deep sweep liquidity. Price, okay, took out this guy with one or two candles before moving into the opposite direction. So take note, soft sweep liquidity and deep sweep liquidity. Now, how do we trade around the liquidity zone? Okay, let's go back to this chart, Euro AUD, the chart we are looking at before. Okay, now we saw that we have a liquidity zone here, but I promise you that the smart money will not trade in this liquidity zone. What happened? They will look for where we have other block. So for the smart money to enter the market, what happened is that they look for where there is other block or fair value gap and activate their trade from there. So I can assure you that the smart money will not buy at this zone. Rather, they will buy lower, okay, below this zone. I will come back to it. Let's go further. Here, if you look at this, you see that we have a liquidity zone here. For example, we have a liquidity zone here, but will the smart money buy from here? No. Okay, so whenever you see a liquidity, know that is what? A trap. And as a trader, don't fall into that trap. Rather, move away from there. If you know how to look for a fair value gap or other block, then you will get it. So let's dive in on how to get this. Like as we say, the smart money will never buy from there. Rather, they will look below here. And what is that? Let's go further a bit. Look at this. If you are good in trading the smart money, okay, you saw that we have a demand zone here, okay, we have another block here that gave rise to this move up. We have this other block, okay, that gave rise to this move up. So after price have moved, we can see price coming back into that zone again. That is what I can see. So for me, I will tell you that this is the area where we should be looking for our buy. Look at this zone. This is the area where we should be looking for a buy trade, because what am I seeing there? After this swept of this liquidity zone, price will took off from here. Okay, price will took off from here. Let's take example from this opposite side. If you watch, there's a liquidity here, but I can assure you, if in any reason price goes up, sorry for this, okay, goes up to here, price will not sell from here. Although it might create as if price is selling from here, but without you knowing, price will push further up, because they know that there will be stop losses around this zone. So price will push up here, and there will be what? A fall. If I can step it down a bit, I have it this way. There's another block here. So these are some of the things you need to know. Okay, so let's go back to the Euro AUD, which I told you about. I know if you are watching it live, this is a live chat, okay? Euro AUD. So like as I say, if you watch, price is approaching this zone. And should we buy on this zone? No. Okay, where should we take our buy entry? Look at this end, okay? Look at what these people have done before. This guy gave rise to this move here, okay? This guy gave rise to this move. Let me just do something like this. So, yeah. So this is the zone where we should be waiting for a bigger push up. And this is the zone where the smart money will rather enter their market than taking from that liquidity zone. So if you know how to trade around liquidity, then sorry, if you don't know how to trade around liquidity zone, then go through this lecture very well. Then you know how to go about it. Take a look at this liquidity graph here, or the liquidity sweep, okay? You can see after price took out this liquidity, okay, there was a liquidity here, took it out, then price reversed from here. Can I share with you what occurred here? This graph here, price did not just reverse from here. Something happened that took price up from there. Let's go. This is it. Okay, so let's go to the chart a bit so that I'll show you why the price reverse from there. Now if you look across here, let's use the H4 chart. Okay, so on the H4 chart, if you look across here, we have a zone, another block here. We have another block here. In fact, let me split it out for you, okay? We have another block on this zone. So you can see this zone. So let's go back to that. Let's go back to that particular. You can see how price deep inside that zone and it reverse. So that is what we call the order block. So price will not just go and reverse anywhere on the chart. It looks for what we call order block or the fair value gap. Then it will rather reverse from there. Okay, look at it. You can see how price dipped after taking out the liquidity deep inside this zone and price push up. So these are some of the things you need to know about the smart money concept and how to trade the liquidity. Okay, more example. If you look at, there is a liquidity graph here. Someone will ask, what happened? Why did the price reverse from here? In fact, let me remove some of these. Okay, let's remove some of these so that it will be clearer. This is a trend line liquidity. Okay, one will ask, why did price actually came to this zone to reverse? Okay, remember this was a trend line liquidity, but what happened? Rather than price to reverse from here, it pulls back down into this zone and took off. Remember I said for this smart money to enter the market, they look for what we call order block or the fair value gap. Now if you look across this area, okay, if you look across this area, there is what? Another block. Let me bring it out. Another block. Okay, there is another block in this zone. Okay, so have you seen why the markets move inside this zone? Most of this things are not rocket science. It's just if you're able to, okay, understand the concept of the smart money, especially when we talk about the liquidity and the liquidity graph, then you know why you trade putting your stop losses on a trend line, on a support or resistance. Market will still sweep it and still move that same direction. So go through this video. Okay, if you have any question, drop it on the comment, then we will reply you. I will be coming to you guys with more exciting topic, okay, on area of the smart money concept. Okay, so thank you for being with us. Bye for now.